Hey, what's going on there, folks? Welcome back here to a Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. August is upon us tomorrow, about 12:25 here p.m. West Coast time. Latest activity here on the globe shows a 1.6 into the California area, it looks like. Actually, that's way up there into the Utah region. 1.5 also up into the Alaska area. We'll get that update here in a little bit as far as earthquake activity goes. First, I want to cover space weather activity, where we're seeing a number of M flares here over the last couple days. Quite a bit, actually, including that little low-grade X flare about 3 days ago. But as you can see, this stair-stepping ladder type event is getting up there in terms of multitudes of M flares. So we're continuing to keep an eye on that. There's the X flare category right here in the line. So we're just shy of the X flare category, but we are continuing to see a bunch of M flare activity from the departing sunspot over here across the western limb. There's a beautiful flare kicking off right now, again on the western limb. We do have numerous sunspots that we're currently monitoring for some stronger flaring, and it's going to be this area right in here. A lot of complexity within these center cores of these individual sunspots. So they pose a risk here for some X-flare activity while they are still facing the Earth somewhat. I know it's getting a little bit further out there across the western limb, but we'll keep an eye on this area. Back behind here, we've got a number of sunspots as well. Quite complex here with this sunspot. And even this area down here is showing quite a bit of complexity. So we'll continue the active phase here of the potential flare threats and subsequent CME activity with these number of sunspots that are currently facing the Earth over the next couple days. Now, the auroras, I hate to say it, I think it was a complete dud. Maybe not a complete dud. We did see a little bit of storming kicking up there. G1 class storm, I think, is the maximum observed. And auroras were seen down there across the northern tier states, but it was not as spectacular as what was forecasted. They're still calling for a little bit of unsettled conditions here over the next couple nights. Here's tonight's forecast. Again, I believe the brunt of the CME or the CMEs that had been shot off towards the Earth missed us or just barely gave us a glancing blow. Definitely nothing like what was forecasted here. So right now, the main threat is going to be the elevated X flare potential here, 25% chance. M flare 75, C flare around 99% chance or so. And again, maybe G2 class storm, G2 class conditions here over the next couple nights, at least in the forecast. But I'm betting that probably not going to happen. And there's all our sunspots out there. Got quite a bit of red here on the map, indicating some complex sunspots, and they are growing dynamically. We'll continue to watch those as they continue to evolve. All right, earthquake activity here. Let's run over to the USGS map, see what we got here as far as earthquake movement. A couple smaller quakes out here from yesterday. Got one more from today here, a little 1.8 out around the Tennessee area. Aside from that, just generally small microquake activity across the oil fields. A little shaking going on up here outside the Hebgen Lake Estates. From early this morning, it looks like a 2.5 there, west of Yellowstone National Park. So let's double check the Yellowstone overview, see what we got. Yeah, so that's a 2.5. That did show up quite nicely here across the majority of the some of the stations up here, I should say, across the northwest corner of the park. This is going to be that 2.5. Again, that reading showing up there across numerous stations, but that's about it. There's not a whole lot of further earthquake activity going on here across the area. Pacific Northwest, roughly about the same. Northern California, I believe this is from yesterday. Yeah, looks like we had one more, 1.6 just after midnight here. Southern end of the Cascadia. Really nothing new to report across the Northern California area in the Cascadia zone. A little earthquake this morning, though, on the northern branch here of the San Andreas Fault, 2.5, north of San Francisco. Further south here, got a handful of smaller quakes out in the southern portion of the state, but again, a lot of this here from yesterday, some of it from today, but really nothing big going on down here. This is a 2.5 map and above. Not a whole lot happening there in Southern California for now. Across the Aleutian Trench area, the entirety, it looks like getting a little bit of smaller quake activity. Somewhat active out here today. Some 4s and 3s being stirred up out here. A mixed bag from yesterday and today. It looks like the Japan area fairly quiet. Typical clustering going on out here across the Philippines area southward. Any notable quakes down here? Let's see. It looks like we did have a 5.7 earthquake around the Fiji area, fairly deep there, 370 miles deep. I gotta remember, I clicked this over here from kilometers to miles just to get in sync with. A lot of viewers prefer the miles out here instead of kilometers, so we'll use that from here on out. 373 miles below the surface for this deep earthquake. Looks like there was 2 of them back to back there within seconds of each other, and the last one a little bit deeper. So still got a lot of movement going on here, deeper regions with some surface adjustment taking place here, but we're still lacking earthquake activity here around the Solomon Islands. It's gotta be building up some strain. It just doesn't stay quiet like that for so long. So keep an eye here, continue to watch around the Solomon Islands area for some larger movement. Kermadec Trench here, 5.1 from early this morning here. Looks like about 8 o'clock my time. New Zealand getting in on a little bit of 3 magnitude earthquakes as well. Apparently there was a 4 up there around North Island. Let's see what we got here for the GeoNet servers real quick. Stand by for a second while I get this set up here. GeoNet. 3-pointer about 2 hours ago, 2.7. There's that 4-pointer from, it's there yesterday because they're ahead in the future, so to speak. But it was basically just last night here. 4.0, 19 kilometers deep here. I can't change those. Those are kilometers. And a little bit of activity stirring up out there today. Let's check out the seismograph stations. There's that 4-pointer, it looks like, showing up across North Island stations. Not a whole lot of swarming going on, just a little bit of somewhat moderate earthquake activity there. But we'll continue to watch that region for some movement. It really hasn't adjusted too much. I mean, a couple 3s and 4s here over the last couple months. Still waiting for a little bit of further adjustment across this area. Let's see here. There's that earthquake from last night there in the Indian Ocean area. Mediterranean region, fairly active. A little swarming going on around the Turkey area, it looks like. Some 2s and 3s. And Iceland, 3.3 up there. So let's go see what's going on around the Iceland area. With the latest activity here, still getting some movement along the rift boundary south. This was pretty obvious last night. Let's check out the last 24 hours here. A couple different swarms here south of the Svartsengi area, the Grindavik region, where we're watching maybe our next eruption take place here soon. This is the past 24 hours. Got about 82 earthquakes here on the map. I like to keep it in the last 12 so it's not so cluttered. Not a whole lot specifically going on here across the Grindavik area, the Blue Lagoon, and the power plant out there. But let's take a look, see if there's been any update put out today or not from the Icelandic Met Office. This was put out yesterday here, just giving a confirmation here that we should see an eruption or some type of new event in the coming days ahead due to the increased level of the magma accumulation below the surface here across the area of Iceland. So that's in the forecast here soon, but right now I don't think it's happening immediately. We'll see the earthquake activity really ramp up out there before we see any further eruption or escalation there across the area. Real quick glance here at the globe once again, see if I'm missing anything spectacular. There's that 4.7 in the Gulf of Alaska up here. Extreme northern end. Early this morning, about 1 o'clock or so. Hawaii, what's going on out here in the blue Pacific? Still waiting out here as well. So let's go check out the latest information here from the volcano hazards map real quick. The volcano's still sitting at a yellow and advisory. Not a whole lot of swarming like we had seen here in the last, well, it's been a few days since we've seen that swarming out here calm down a little bit, but there's still earthquake activity out here. If we look at the seismograph stations, there's still, we still got that activity stirring up out here. A lot of smaller quakes. So there's more than what's showing up here on the map from the USGS. All these little spikes here, still earthquake activity, pressurization going on within this region here. Nothing new though, I don't think, here on the tilt meter. Let's see what we got. Fairly level across that area for now. The overall trend across the summit area. We'll look at the deformation data here real quick. Continues to show up inflation here, but yeah, there it is. There's the past week. Here's our loss of magma from the summit to the East Rift Zone, Upper East Rift Zone. So we're not quite there to the point where we're seeing a recharge of the summit like it had been before. We lost a lot of volume of magma from the summit off to the Upper East Rift Zone here with this large dip. But we're starting to come back up. We'll see what happens here in the coming days. Just a matter of time here, I feel. All right, so lost space weather activity going on here as far as flaring goes. And I guess we'll see what happens in terms of the auroras here in the next couple nights. But, it was only a fraction of what they had forecasted. Severe weather threat out here today with an enhanced area from the Storm Prediction Center, and that includes a tornado potential out here as well. Good swath of tornado potential across Indiana, Nebraska, Minnesota area, Ohio, stretching back over here across North and South Dakota. So keep your eye on the sky for some twisting water vapor. The main threat, I think, is going to be some very large wind or very large hail, and also some damaging wind gusts out there in the hatched area. These are going to be the main primary areas there in the enhanced area for the severe weather today. So just be on guard out there. It is the work week, so a lot of people at work. Make sure you got some type of carport or something to cover your windshield out there. Might see some broken windshields today with that large hail threat. All right, seismograph stations out here pretty quiet. Was going to reset the stream here to get this. Well, all I have to do is reset this seismograph station viewer, and then see if it'll pop back up normal. So if I get a chance, I'll redo that. It takes a little bit to get all these stations back up online, the correct ones anyway. But we'll use what we got there for now, and we'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening, folks. Enjoy your Wednesday, halfway through the work week here. We'll catch you guys back out here later.